All right, I got an interview coming up in just about 10 minutes. I got a band that's by the name of Chicago Farmer and the Fieldnotes. I've got Cody going to be on the phone, and so what I'd like to do is play some of their music right now. So let me get to some music from Chicago Farmer and the Fieldnotes. We'll see what you think of this.
It's a make or break to the interstate, no way I could get caught. With a stack of bills and a host of fill, I do it in one shot. I be the king of the roadkill, two birds at one time. I'm a stone's throw from the Indiana line. I'm a stone's throw from the Indiana line. There's an overhaul in the left lane stall, the sheriff on my tail. Pass, so I hit that gas and move on down the trail. 'Cause I won't be forgiven, they don't take too kind. Now they're holding up that Indiana line. Well, they're holding up that Indiana line. There's a standstill, oh, in Danville. I'm falling way behind. There's a standstill, oh, in Danville. I be losing more than my mind. Come on, boys, they're flashing lights in the shadow of my doubt. I made a run at the sun tonight, now all my options out. Hope I make it back home to Illinois, the beating already flying. Yeah, this could be the Indiana line. Oh, this could be the Indiana line. Yeah, this must be the Indiana line. Hey. Started writing this song in a flood. I finished it in a drought. Recorded in a heat wave. It was cold when it came out. It just spun for the 100th time, and I'm packing up my case. I'm gonna count up these tips and go spend it all in one place. Used to knock them down, really make the sounds at the old red barn saloon. Watch the sun come up on tower line, still howling at the moon. Told the troop, tore off that roof, put a smile just spun 10,000 times and I'm packing up my case. I'm gonna take the royalties and go spend it all in one place. Well, I worked all week long so I could go down to the arena for the big country show. But when I stepped inside, I began to shed a tear when I saw a sign that read $13 beers. $13 beers, $13 beers. I'd love to hear some songs and maybe drown away my fears. But I am just a poor boy, my money disappears, and I just can't get drunk on $13 beers. I made it to my seat. It was the third row from the back. I couldn't see a thing but a blurry cowboy hat. And all the folks behind me, they were screaming in my ear. They were getting drunk on $13 beers. $13 beers, $13 beers. I'd love to hear some songs and maybe drown away my fears. But I am just a poor boy now, I can't see or hear, and I still can't get drunk on $13 beers. So I left after a song. I got out of there fast. Saw a guy on the corner with a guitar, so I asked, is there any place around here where they'll treat you right? Said some guy named Farmer's playing the tavern tonight. They got $3 beers, they got $3 beers. He'll sing you some songs and he'll drown away your fears. These field notes are music to my ears. We'll listen and we'll drink up on $3 beers. We'll dance and we'll drink up on $3 beers. We'll sing along, we'll drink up, hey everybody, cheers. Cheers, 'cause we're not drinking $13 beers. Thanks for coming out tonight, it's good to see you here.
It's 11 o'clock. You're listening to WZRD Chicago, 88.3 FM and streaming worldwide at WZRDchicago.org. Well, that was a band called Chicago Farmer and the Fieldnotes. They're going to be at Martyrs coming up next Friday and Saturday. So we're talking about the 4th and 5th of April. And I hope I have Cody on the phone here. Cody, you there?
Yeah, good morning. How are
There
you?
he is. Hey, all right. Thank God technology. Amazing thing when it works.
Indeed. Thanks for having me. I appreciate y'all.
Sure, no problem. So I love that song that I just played there, $13 Beers, and I got to figure that's somewhat of a personal experience for you.
It is, yeah. I was traveling around the country, and after a tour one time, we went to like a big kind of arena show, and I think all the money that I made on tour, I ended up spending on beer at one night at an arena show. So, you know, it just makes us appreciate the Chicago venues like Martyrs and Fitzgerald's and all those other places that, you know, that doesn't have to hurt you quite as bad.
Well, I think if you can get it for $13 these days, you're lucky. It's even going for more than that, right?
It's true. true. It's on the rise. So, we have to write protest songs that we can all agree on from time to time.
So who was the act that you were seeing at the time?
Oh, man, I don't even remember, but I remember it was kind of close to, I hate to say it, but Dead Company was at Alpine Valley.
Okay.
And that was one that really inspired it too. I think they were like 18 right there, but I thought most people wouldn't believe me 5 years ago if I told them beers were $18. So
oh yeah, no, I know.
I had to blemish some numbers from time to time.
Well, I don't think anybody wants you getting drunk on $13 beers. I think that's the idea. So they're going to limit your intake there just on a monetary basis.
Yeah, and since I think I wrote that song in 2020, and it was $13 beers, and now when we play it, it's $15 beers now. We changed it because of inflation.
Very appropriate. Yeah, no, and that's not not far from the truth. So.
Yeah. Yep.
So in your bio, I noted that you are inspired by folk singers like John Prine. Did you have a specific song of his that really spoke to you?
I think that first album I think his first album and like Dylan's first album, where they're just really stripped down, just them singing their songs, that really hit me. When I was in high school, I was listening to like Nirvana and a lot of grunge music, and I heard Hank Williams just playing a song like by himself. My friend's dad used to play guitar and sing, and I just fell in love with like the simplicity of it. And when I moved to Chicago, I kind of wanted to start a band, but I kind of fell in love with John Prine and Old Town School of Folk, and I lived with 6 other musicians. I had 6 roommates, and they were musicians, so I was like, I think I'm just going to go solo. And I don't know, those songs just in that simple form just kind of spoke to me. And I think, I used to deliver pizzas. John Prine used to deliver the mail, so it just connected with me.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, what other folk singers or Chicago folk singers stood out to you?
I love Steve Goodman. I mean, I just love the spirit. I love his playing and his spirit. I've never got to see him live. I got to see Prine, but I love the spirit of the videos and Steve Goodman's performances. Arlo Guthrie, and then I guess, more these days, Todd Snyder's a big hero. I got to open for Todd many times and do some tours and stuff like that. So I just kind of love all the singer-songwriters. But after doing it for like 15 years, I was like, I need to mix it up a little bit, and I started a band. So I kind of avoided those 6 musicians I lived with, but now I'm playing with people, and it's fun.
So all the musicians that you're playing with, are they from Chicago?
Yeah, we got a guy from Chicago and a guy from Evanston, and then 2 guys from Urbana. So we're kind of scattered across the state here, and so we meet in the middle and jam and practice and hop in the van and hit the road. We just got back from Kokomo, Indiana this morning at about 3 a.m.
Oh, man. It's one of those rough nights.
We're out there in the van, good old Barbara Streisand van, as we call the van. And we hit Findlay, Ohio, Newport, Kentucky, and Kokomo, Indiana. And so it's going to be like a homecoming playing Martyrs 2 nights this week.
Well, I hate to get you up so early for this.
Oh, no. I had to get up. Okay. I'm not a typical musician. I get home late, but I still get up early.
Oh, man. That's got to be rough. So did you meet
it is, but, it's just the only life I really know,
So did you meet those guys by living with them, or did you meet them other places?
I met our guitar player at ISU in Normal, Illinois. I grew up in Central Illinois, and then I moved to Chicago for many years, and now I live in Bloomington. So I've kind of run the gamut of small town to big city to medium size.
Yeah.
And just playing festivals and playing concert series and shows over the years. I met the guys from Urbana. We kind of started this band, and then we added our guitar player from Chicago and then a drummer from Evanston, and now we're a 5-piece. So went from 1 guy to 5 pretty quick, and we got like a nice full sound. I think we cover all kinds of genres, like from rock and roll to soul to folk to country to a little bit of bluegrass, and so we kind of bring it from all different angles.
Nice. When you mentioned festivals, have you ever played the one that's associated with the Old Town School of Folk Music, that Square Roots Festival?
I have not. A couple of our guys have. I have not, but I took harmonica lessons at Old Town, and I've played space over the years, and play Shoe Fest and a bunch of other festivals here in Illinois.
Well, you guys would fit right into that festival. They're taking submissions right now for this summer. So
Yeah.
So get your stuff in. I can send you the email for the submission people if you want.
Oh, that'd be great. I love those folks.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. Well, maybe since they know you, maybe you're more inclined to get you over there. So
I'm all about it.
you'll see me standing right in front of the stage. That's my usual spot.
All right.
Kind of known
It
for that
sounds
at that
good.
festival. Yeah, I'm
I
the
love
old guy that stands right in front. So
Oh, that's perfect.
so when you were growing up, did your parents listen to any of that music that you were talking about?
Not really. I was from a town of like 1,700 people, so I was kind of, just hearing the Beatles, and my parents were very into music. My dad was in a band back in the day called Remedy down here in like Central Illinois, and they love music, but I think it took me a while before I started really falling in love with these things that were, I guess, kind of off the beaten path. I mean, most people I know now know who John Prine is, but when I was in high school, only a few people knew who he was. So I kind of started getting the traveling bug, and I started traveling around and meeting new people and listening to new music. So it kind of took me getting in the vehicle and traveling around the country to really start finding and getting turned on the music that I love now.
So were you inspired by your dad then to start playing?
Yeah, he wasn't in a band for a long time, but he was always just a very free spirit, self-made person. He always had his own businesses. He started his own businesses, and he was kind of like myself. He didn't really like people telling him what to do or where to be or how to do things. He wanted to do everything on his own, and that can be a difficult life, but it can also be a life that's fulfilling. And so I kind of followed his footsteps and doing things like that way.
Did he have to have a side job to keep things going?
He did. His first business was a head shop, and his second business was a cowboy boot store. And then he started then he finally, when he had 2 kids, he started selling advertising for the Yellow Pages. So he would travel around the country too. So yep, he had my sister and I, and decided that the head shop and the cowboy boot store wasn't really paying the bills. So,
yeah, exactly.
But I haven't learned the lesson yet to get the real job. I'm just too stubborn, so I keep doing this.
Well, as long as you're able to sustain yourself, can you keep yourself going with music?
Yeah, I have been now for like 20 years. So
nice.
Yeah, I have no complaints. Like when I pulled into the driveway at 3 a.m. last night, I was like, this is crazy. But then again,
but it's okay.
This is either the life I've chosen or the life that's chosen me. So we just keep forging ahead.
Nice. So how old were you when you first started playing?
So being in that small town, and I started writing in study halls when I was about 16 or 17, and that's really where like my creative kind of spirit kind of came from, was just writing first. And then I used to work on the farm baling hay and things like that, and I got some money and got an acoustic guitar, I guess, late in high school. And then after I played both bars and every garage in my hometown, I moved to Bloomington, and then I moved to Chicago, and just kind of started this troubadour life of taking that guitar and those poetries and those songs that I was writing and putting them into motion and hitting the road with them.
Nice. So did you teach yourself how to play guitar?
Yeah, I did. I had a couple of family friends show me a few chords and stuff like that, and then I just kind of rolled with that. And over the years, I've become kind of an adequate 3-chord guy. So
what's all you need?
Flashy. That's why I got the band. They can show off a little bit. I just play the 3 chords and write the songs, and they help me put them in motion.
Well, it seems like a lot of your music seems to touch on the common man themes or experiences, and it sounds like you've lived that life.
Yeah, I think so. I think, both sets of my grandparents were farmers and come from a lot of hardworking, down-home folks, and their spirits in my music and in my roots. And, even when I moved to Chicago, I think I took my small town roots with me there and wherever I go, and it just kind of comes out through the music.
So do you ever get out to other shows? You were talking about going to see that one festival band. Do you get to watch other bands play or other musicians play?
I do. In here in Bloomington, we've got the Castle Theater
Oh yeah.
Get some great bands. I'm usually on the road and miss all the cool stuff, but our friends Miles Nielsen and the Rusted Hearts were just down here yesterday from Chicago.
Nice.
With Roger Klein, and there's some great stuff. And if there's a cool show happening in Chicago, like some friends are playing, I'll hop up there and check something out. And usually, Joel Patterson's playing somewhere, and I love Joel. When I first moved from my small town to Chicago, I was kind of lost, and I started seeing a Devil in a Woodpile at the Hideout, and that was kind of the thing that made me feel at home first when I moved to Chicago. I love those guys.
Well, Chicago is such a great music scene. There's so many good venues, so many good bands playing.
Yeah.
I love to go over to like Fitzgerald's and hang out during a summer afternoon and just go band after band. Whole family experience.
Yeah, there's so many great venues, and we were kind of always like, we were doing Space and Fitzgerald's and the venue in Aurora, and all my people who actually live inside Chicago, they were getting a little peeved at me. They're like, "Why aren't you coming to actually play the city?" And we didn't really know. We hadn't really found our home yet, I guess. And then about 3 or 4 years ago, we started playing Martyrs, and just fell in love with Martyrs and those folks. They treat you so well, and they've got like a really cool local mom and pop vibe going there in their operations, and they got the spirit, and it's all about the music and the community and fun. And I can't thank them enough for kind of becoming our home in Chicago for the band.
Nice. Yeah, there's definitely a community crowd at Martyrs. I mean, I go to different shows there, and I see a lot of the same people.
Yeah, I played there over the years, and my buddies Henhouse Prowlers used to play there all the time.
Oh yeah,
even residencies and Cornmeal and all those folks. And I think that's when I first started going. When would go check those guys out at like their weekly gigs, and I fell in love with it. And I did a few solo things there, and it just seemed to make sense to be the best place to bring the band. You know,
I'll tell you, Cornmeal. That's a really hot band to see. I've seen them so many times at Martyrs. That is really a hot band.
Oh, yeah. I used to see them at Griffin's on a Halstead way back in the day.
Yeah.
Tiny little place. And it was a highlight of the week for sure.
Nice. Well, you're coming back to Martyrs here, so you're doing a show, this Friday and this Saturday, right?
Yeah, we've done a show every spring for the last few years, and they've gone really well and been so much fun that we threw out the idea, let's play 2. So there's going to be 2 shows, and Cubs home opening weekend, so you can do baseball by day and then come catch us at night. It's going to be quite the weekend on the north side.
You gonna have pretty much different sets both nights?
Oh yeah. I mean, we might play $13 beers both nights, but besides that, it'll be pretty different.
Okay. You guys do a lot of cover songs, or you do mostly your own material?
We do a few John Hartford songs. We do a Ted Hawkins song. We do a couple, we'll do 6 days on the road and some stuff like that. But I'd say it's about 85% original songs.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. So what other clubs do you like to play in Chicago?
You mentioned Fitzgerald's. We're playing the American Music Festival in July.
Oh, very nice.
And, yeah, so we love that. I think we're on the same day as the Wallflowers.
Okay.
Cool.
Oh, that's cool.
And we're also the same day as Fox Crossing String Band, who are just fantastic musicians and people who are also playing with us Saturday at Martyrs. They're on the same day as us too. So, I love Fitzgerald's, and we just did Robert's West Side in Forest Park for the first time. Obviously, love Space. We've done City Winery, the venue in Aurora. And then when I play solo, I often play Hey Nani in Arlington Heights. So we make our rounds to all of them.
Very nice. So you guys on the bill for any summer festivals coming up?
We're playing Shoe Fest in Manteno, Illinois, in Labor Day weekend. And I've played summer camp in Chillicothe every year for about 18 years.
Oh, nice.
They're taking a year off. Unfortunately, this year. And then we have some other festivals around the Midwest. A lot of them are kind of folky. Some of them are kind of in the jam Americana scene. But I'm excited to be back outside playing music.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Well, glad you're keeping busy. So you got a new album coming out.
it'll be 110 degrees, and we'll be in porta potties before we know it.
That's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. So it sounds like you got a new album coming out. What's that all about?
Yeah, we started recording an album last August at a place called Pachyderm Studios in Minnesota, and we're in the mixing process now, so it's getting closer and closer, and I'm excited. I haven't released a full album since like 2020, so the pandemic kind of put a hurting on that, so I wasn't really that eager to make one, but I was kind of like, it's time. Enough time's passed now, so it's time to tackle the studio and make a new album. So that's top priority right now.
So how many albums do you guys have?
Well, with the band, we have an EP, but by myself, I have about 6 or 7, I believe.
Okay.
The one that came out in 2020, that has a couple of the songs you were playing, I recorded in Austin with the Band of Heathens. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
No.
Band of Heathens are kind of like an Americana band down in Austin, Texas. And they backed me up on a pretty cool album called Flyover Country that I was pretty proud of. So, but yeah, this will be the first one in 5 years, so I'm long overdue.
So I'm looking at that video on Indiana Line. What studio did you guys record that in?
That was called, I believe, DZ Records, and it was in a South Burb, but I can't remember which one. It's been a while.
It looks like a cool venue. There's so many guitars on the wall there in that video. It's amazing.
Yeah, that was a cool place. I don't know if he still does that, but he had a bunch of just video equipment in his house, and you just kind of go there and rip a few songs, and it's been beneficial just to have people not only be able to hear us but actually see us and what we do. And I think at that time we were a 4-piece, and we've even up to a 5-piece now, so it's time to go back and make a couple new videos with some new songs. Nice.
Well, let's see. Yeah. I'd like to play a song here as we get out of the interview. So what's a good song to play for you guys?
From that Flyover Country album, I don't know if you have that or not, but Dirtiest Uniforms is kind of one inspired partially by my favorite baseball player, Ron Santo.
Yeah. Yeah, I listened to that song, and it made me think of opening day. So, yeah, I got that one. Okay. Dirtiest Uniforms right here. So, yeah, we can get that one on for you. Yeah, I'll put that one on. That one. Hopefully we can give away some tickets to your show here. So we got... that'd
be fantastic.
I never know how that's going to go because I never know how many people are listening to my show. I swear sometimes I think there's only about 3 people. So and I know my parents are listening. They're one of the 3 people who listen. But we got listener Mike. He always calls in request songs. We got Northside Nick. He calls in. I got Southside Nick or Southside Mike.
Nice.
Yeah, so I got a few listeners. So they'll weigh in and they usually get some suggestions out of me. So it's a fun group. And it's always kind of, I never know, who is listening, because every once in a while I will get a call from somebody else and you're kind of like, oh, okay, there's actually people listening out there. So
well, that's awesome your parents listen. There's always the first people to buy the album too is the parents.
Well, my closing segment is always a tribute to my folks. I always do a bluegrass for my folks segment, and so I'll play either like some John Prine, Steve Goodman, play some Earl Scruggs. I mean, all kinds of different bluegrass stuff. My folks are old concert and bluegrass people, so they used to go to things like Bean Blossom and go to Merle Fest, and they would go to a bunch of those kind of like summer festivals back in the day. And so they did get to see John Goodman, and they did get to see Steve Goodman and John Prine. So they did get to see those guys live back in the day.
Oh, that's fantastic. I did get to see Prine one time at the Rialto in Joliet, and it was a life-changing experience.
I can imagine. But, I mean, his songs just hit you so deep.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a pretty big John Hartford fan, too. And you mentioned Bean Blossom. I used to perform at the John Hartford Memorial Festival there in Bean Blossom at the Bill Monroe Park. And that was a really, really special place and time, too. So
nice.
But, yeah, when I was in high school, I started out writing, and my mom found my notebook, and there was some pretty weird stuff in there. But she didn't send me off away. She told me to keep it up and was very supportive. And I have a lot of friends who are musicians who didn't have that support from their folks. So I'm So you and I are one of the lucky ones that have the support, and I'm forever grateful for that.
Well,
Always had encouragement and to follow your passions, and it's great.
it's such a hard life because either you make it or you don't. And if you've got that passion and that drive and you really want to be there and you're not making it, it's just got to be frustrating.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I've got a
good to have people that have your back.
Yeah, no, definitely. Those parents are your rock and pillar there that are kind of holding you up and supporting you. And as long as they stood by you during those times to keep you pushing forward, it's something that really helps.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Well, Cody, it's been a real pleasure talking to you. I think I'm going to be going to your show on Friday, so I can't wait to see you guys live. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. Come on down, and on Friday at Martyrs is a folk duo called Rucksack Revolution from Wisconsin, and it's my buddy Adam Gruel. He plays in a band called Horseshoes and Hand Grenades. They're a bluegrass band.
Oh yeah.
And then Sarah Voss is in a great folk band called Dead Horses. So they've played Old Town a few times, so they have a duo together. So it's like a folk duo opening the show, and then it'll be the band, and then Saturday's local string band, Fox Crossing String Band, opens the show, and then the band on Saturday night. So
very nice.
Cubs go and go live music.
What time things kick off?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. Okay, and you guys are going to take the stage about what time?
The openers will hit at 8, and we'll hit right around 9.
Sounds good. Awesome. Well, looking forward to it. So let's see if we can get some tickets away to those shows. So we got Friday and Saturday. That's April 4th and 5th at Martyrs. Going to go see Chicago Farmer and the Fieldnotes. So if you want to go to that show, give me a call here, 773-442-4578. Cody, thanks so much. I'll put that song on for you. And
pleasure talking to you. Thanks so much.
Real pleasure talking to you, Cody. Thanks so much for being on the radio here. All right. Take care. We'll see you.
I think it's only $5 or $6 beers at Martyrs.
All right, cool. Hey, I got somebody calling for those tickets right now. So, all right, thanks, Cody. Take care, man.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
He could always be found in the backyard. The bases he'd round until it grew too dark. When his time came, he didn't hesitate. They put him in the game, and he stepped up to the plate. He was thinking curveball, but he got instead 95 miles an hour right into his head. He hobbled down to first with a lump on his face, and on the very next pitch, he up and stole second base. With the greatest speed, he wasn't born, but he had the dirtiest uniform. With the greatest speed, he wasn't born, but he had the dirtiest uniform. Board was out of touch, kids were out of reach. She never gave up on her passion to teach. And even though the school's on the wrong side of the tracks, she crossed over and she came and gave back. We knew she could have left, but she stuck around to get everyone else's feet back on the ground. Then we would thrive and we'd achieve, 'cause she's the first one to arrive and the last one to leave. From the wealthiest town, she wasn't born, but she had the dirtiest uniform. From the wealthiest town, she wasn't born, but she had the dirtiest uniform. Both of them folks, they were heroes to me. And I grew up with hopes of something to be. I'd watch him play, listen to her teach, and I set out on my way to practice what they preach. So I heard my calling, and I found my thing. Now I spend my Fridays falling down trying to sing, but I get back up just like they taught, and I keep on working with the tools that I've got. With the prettiest voice I wasn't born, but I have the dirtiest uniform. With the prettiest voice I wasn't born, but I have the dirtiest uniform. Names in the lights, we got out of the van. Another night in Urbana-Champaign, playing with the band. We're putting in the miles, living the dream. It's all worthwhile the time, just you take one for the team. With the catchiest sound, we weren't born, but we've got the dirtiest uniforms. With the catchiest sound, we weren't born, but we've got the dirtiest uniform. Oh, the catchiest songs we don't perform, but we've got the dirtiest uniforms. The catchiest songs we don't perform, but we've got the dirtiest uniforms.
Chicago Farmer and the Fieldnotes with their song "Dirtiest Uniforms." So thanks so much to Nick Diekhoff for getting on the radio with us and talking to me about their show coming up. So that's going to be next Friday and Saturday at Martyrs. That's the 4th and the 5th. I already gave away a pair of tickets for Saturday, so I still do have a pair of tickets for Friday if somebody wants to go to that show. So give me a call at 773-442-4578 if you want to go to that show.